Ladies and gentlemen, the boardroom is open, and today we're talking about Arkham Horror, the living card game, on Shelf Talk. Now, Arkham Horror, the living card game, is vast. There are many expansions. There's quite a few campaign storylines, and that's the way the game's built. It's built to kind of play a campaign through a series of what they call mythos packs, where you start with the main campaign story, and then that story branches into another mini story, and so on and so forth, and you follow along that path with your investigator. So what I'm going to do is take you down to the table, show you some of the overarching mechanics, for lack of a better word, of the game itself, and then bring you back here to talk about my final thoughts and a bit of a review on Arkham Horror, the living card game. Here I've got the game set up for a two-player game. You can see two investigators on the right-hand side, Akachi, she's the mystic in purple, and Rex, he's the seeker, kind of in an orangish yellow looking card. They have different roles that they'll take throughout the game, and we'll get into those in a minute. I'm going to start with the agenda and the act up in the upper right hand corner. The agenda, in this case, what's going on. The agenda is how the monsters and the horrors and the bad things that happen advance in the game, and that's what you're trying to thwart by completing the act. And the act is on the right side. Notice how it makes a book in the middle. The act will show how many clues an investigator needs to proceed to the next act. If there are no clues there, it will tell you how to proceed to the next act in a different manner. While the agenda and the act tell us what's going on, the locations tell us where all this action is happening. Notice here in the middle we have the hallway, the cellar, the attic, and the parlor. Now the locations, you can't get from one to the other all the time. If you notice the location connectors at the bottom of the cards, the hallway is connected to the cellar, the parlor, and the attic, but the attic is not connected to the cellar. Wouldn't make much sense. The parlor is also not connected to the attic or the cellar, but they are each connected to the hallway. The icons at the bottom of the card show where you can get to. The icons at the top of the card show which icon is for that particular room. Each investigator gets to have a custom deck made around their specialty, like Seeker or Mystic. Also, each investigator will have a mini card, and the mini card will track which location you're at when you're taking the actions on your turn. The investigator's decks are comprised of assets, events, skills, and even weaknesses, which are used to thwart your adventures. Each investigator has a health stat and a sanity stat, along with willpower, intellect, combat, and agility. The willpower, intellect, combat, and agility are used for skill tests throughout the game. Instead of rolling dice in this game to complete skill tests, you're going to draw tokens from the Chaos Bag. At the beginning of each mission, you fill up the Chaos Bag determined by which level of difficulty you choose: easy, standard, hard, or expert. Also, when choosing the level of difficulty, you take the story card and you keep that side face up, whether easy or standard, hard or difficult, and they will give you the outcomes for the different tokens that are in the token bag. Throughout the game, you're going to move your character about the different locations trying to find clues. Clues are located on the right-hand side of the card, and they show how many is in each location per investigator. Gather up enough clues, advance the act, and the idea is to basically get out with your life. It's not that easy of a game. The Chaos Bag is heavily weighted with zeros, negative ones, negative twos. There's a couple of positive ones and maybe a positive two, and then there's one automatic fail and one automatic success. Don't rely on that Chaos Bag too heavily. But basically, that's it. Run your characters through the locations, get through that act as fast as you can before the agenda advances to its conclusion, and you'll have won a game of Arkham Horror, the living card game. Okay, like I said, it was a very brief overview of what you're going to do in this game. As far as my thoughts in the game and a kind of a review, I like it. I think it's a lot of fun. I've been playing a few of the campaign missions from the Return to Dunwich, the Dunwich Legacy. I've been running through that on my channel, so you can see some of those videos linked here. And as fun as that is, the game takes quite a few times to play through to really get the feel, really get the rhythm, and then really manipulate how the monsters move and how you can escape them without taking maximum damage, how you can stay alive, etc. One of the exciting parts about the campaign is if you do die or go insane, you come back in the next mission with either less health or less sanity. So if you went insane, you'll come back with less sanity. If you died during a physical combat, you will come back with one less health. So it keeps it interesting for a ongoing campaign, your character is thus getting weaker and weaker as the story progresses. That part's neat. The stories themselves are kind of cool, where if you're in the middle of a scenario, that particular mission is going to ask you about outcomes of previous missions. So I think that's really cool as well. What I don't, it's not that I don't like it, what I kind of don't enjoy, for lack of a better word, I like the game. What I don't enjoy about it is not really knowing how all the cards really interact with each other. And I guess that's just going to come with future plays and more often plays, because again, the game is really, really deep. I only showed the basics of the actions. I didn't show all the different things you can do with your willpower and casting spells, or your agility and evading monsters and locking them down in different rooms and things like that. There's so much that you can do and uncover. But that's where maybe the game will either lose some people or really attract some people. I'm still on the fence about it, but I'm enjoying it the more I play it. So those are my thoughts about Arkham Horror, the living card game. Thanks so much for attending this board meeting. As always, we'll see you at the next boardroom meeting. This video is brought to you by Legendcraft, the makers of fine tabletop gaming accessories. Check out their website at legendcraft.ca. Use code BOARDMEMBER for 5% off your next purchase. Just look at this table. Imagine playing on that.